my dear Ross. Thank you so much for ordering a personal reading with me, Queen of Cups Tarot. So I will start shuffling your cards, and I use the Anna K Tarot, or K Tarot. So for the shuffling here, I want to see what the Divine wants to tell you about you. So when I open the deck here, I see the King of Rods in reverse together with the Eight of Pentacles. So King of Rods in reversed is a rather temperamental person. It can be jealous and obsessive and hungry for power and wants to be right, things like this. When it comes in the upright position, it's more like a strong, warm, generous leader, like the person being able to be kind of the bigger person, a good leader. But in the reversed, it's like a good leader gone bad. So, but with the Eight of Pentacles, it shows that you have been working on this whatever was going on here with the King of Rods in the reversed, and you have done things again and again to kind of the same thing again and again, to be educated, to become more yourself and a better person in general. So I call the Divine with love and light, and here we have the King of Rods is still in the reversed with the Six of Cups in the reversed. So the Six of Cups in the reversed might be still some remedy with you, where you have a hard time maybe saying you're sorry, okay? That and particularly to maybe your daughter here, because this is the childhood and child card, and also past life card, and nostalgia, memories, things like this. So you have a seed here in your deck. Interesting. It's from a birch tree. Okay. So your little seedling there. It's a little bit indicated that there might be things that needs to be worked on in this relationship. Things that needs to be communicated, maybe. Okay. So, and it's also talking about your inner child, that you have a reluctancy to go and meet with him, because this inner child, like that entity's problem, might be the reason to why you became the King of Wands in the reversed. So if you would go back and heal your childhood, and what do I mean with that? I mean, go back and take better care of your child than what your parents did or what the surrounding did at that point. So listen to your inner child, what it has to say, and tell your inner child that you from now on will be there for this person, and protect them and honor them and respect them. And then you need to mean business as well. So when your inner child has feelings and wants and needs, you need to listen also then in your day-to-day life. When you feel sad, for example, you can't ignore it. You need to take care of it and address it. And if you feel a deep want or need, you need to also go there and check out, okay, so what is it that I really need, my inner child really needs? Because your inner child is like it's like a jellyfish inside of you. That's your actual soul core. It's the part which you will take with you when you go from here, when you die. Okay, so this is your essence or your core, and it's going to guide you to what you're supposed to do with your life. So it's very sensitive. And it gets its information through emotion, and you're speaking to your inner child through your emotions and your wants and your needs, and also through shame and guilt, because it's very sensitive, so it can feel when it did something wrong. So we correct it accordingly with these feelings, so we can reach equilibrium again, like balance. Okay. So I call the 4 archangels in the 4 corners of the world, and we had the 6 of Cups, and here we have a 5 of Cups, also together with the King of Rods, and it feels like you have abandoned your inner child, and that might also be the reason to why you kind of have abandoned your daughter, even if it wasn't free willing. You need to look at the reasons, because maybe you didn't want to feel your inner child's pain, so you didn't want to be close to your actual child. So we can see you walking away here to this opening, and this is rather typical. I had told this on my channel, so maybe you have heard it before, but I had a dream where me and my family, I was younger, maybe teenager, and I was eating dinner with them in an apartment we had when I was really small. And a little boy had fell from the balcony, from third store balcony, and no one wanted to go and look what happened to him. Not even his parents, which was my parents. Because they said, well, he fell from, he's very little, like 2 or 3 years old, and he fell from the third store. He's probably dead. And if he's not dead, he's going to die. So they didn't want to go and check on him, and I thought they were kind of crazy. So I ran out and I checked to him, and he was still breathing, and I called the ambulance and waited for the ambulance and all these kind of things. And when I woke up, I realized this was me. My inner child that fell off the balcony, and also my parents was also me that ignored the pain from my inner child, much what you are doing here. So while your inner child is kind of bleeding to death, falling from a balcony, you just go on with your life acting like nothing has happened, like what they did, just continue eating dinner. So I call the 6 elements. So we can't ignore trauma like this, like it will still be there, like it will never heal. The inner child will always be dying if we don't go and, heal it, okay? So you haven't done anything wrong, you just need to do better from here. You need to address your own pain, okay? So 6 elements, and here we have a 3 of Pentacles. So this is kind of you coming back and facing, because you have a problem with this King of Rods. You don't want to see your flaws or your wrongdoing, because you can't forgive yourself. So forgiveness is very necessary. We can feel like we didn't do our best at all times, but we did the best from what kind of person we were at that time. And there's always room for improvement. So you don't have to judge yourself so hard. You can just see, okay, I did bad then, but I can take new decisions now. And this is what the 3 of Pentacles is all about, like a health plan, or how can we fix this kind of plan, or a plan for how can I move on with the Holy Trinity, which is Mother, Father, Child. So this is you healing yourself, your masculine side that has so much guilt, your inner child that has so much pain, and your feminine side, which I haven't seen much of just yet. So your feminine side is the entity inside of you that interprets the inner child's wants and needs. So your feminine side can be interprets the emotions of the child. So if we feel sad, for example, the female side in us can feel that sadness and interpret it as, okay, interpreting into a need. Okay, we need to heal, or we need to eat, or we need to make more friends, or I need love in my life. And the male in this is the one going out and fix that, is the one, grabbing the food, healing the child, or, getting more companion by being charming and nice. Okay, so here it seems like you need to go back and fix this. So that's what I'm seeing. You need to go back and fix yourself, to heal yourself and make yourself into like a holy person, a healed person with all your different soul parts in place. So 6 elements: earth, wind, fire, water, spirit, and ether. King of Swords, 10 of Rods, Ace of Pentacles. 10 of Rods and 10 of Swords. Okay. So it seems like you want to avoid this because it's very painful. So you're trying to be kind of logic about it to avoid the pain. Much like my parents in my dream, that was actually me sitting and kind of saying, well, they are already dead, so nothing we can do about it now. But there's something you can do about this. Okay, there's a new beginning. It can be much better for you. You don't have to stay wounded. Okay, you don't have to stay wounded and continue ignoring the pain. Your self-image isn't like the best ever either. Knight of Pentacles. With the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse, I feel like a fluidiness with you, like you can't stay in a particular place. You're like having avoidant behavior, maybe through certain relationship as that with your daughter, for example. It's like maybe you feel she sees you, or she judges you or something like that. Queen of Cups with the High Priest. Well, if these two could meet inside of you, that would be a great thing. Queen of Cups is your feminine side. It's the one interpret the needs of the child. She can feel the feelings of the child, and okay, so this is it. And the High Priest, it's like the authority inside of you that decides upon, okay, this is what we should believe. This is what's the truth. So you might have, it might be, sometimes this entity is a little bit stubborn inside of us and don't want to change, but he holds the key towards her. So I think the key is, if you want to, become more like the Buddha, like have inner peace, be a nice person, heal yourself, be able to heal others. The key is to connect with your feminine side there. So, but I already told you that, so I don't know why this Ace of Rods together with Eight of Swords. Okay, so when you think bad about yourself, you're actually punishing your inner child. Okay, your inner child came with kind of a mission why he or she came. It's kind of can come, the inner child can have two genders. It just shows different aspects of your inner child. And here we can see the inner child being a female that's go over like a cliff here, or it's abyss. So she looks very courageous. So I think that if you could love all yourself, your feminine side, your masculine side, your inner child, your everything, and stop with this. When you're self-loathing like this, you're also degrading this entity inside of you. So when you're thinking, oh, I'm such a bad person, I will never experience any happiness, and so on and so forth, you're judging this entity to live that unhappy life. I feel like you have a responsibility for your inner child. It had dreams when it came and wanted to be happy, and it's kind of up to you to see to that you become happy. But if you think like this about yourself, that's going to prevent you from moving forward, which seems to be rather easy for you. If you just would stop with this, it would be, you will leave the old behind and come into a new space, which would be much more healthy for you. So you really need to start to manage those thoughts of you. You don't have to control them. It can be very hard, but you can start to listen to them, what your thoughts are telling you. Take a journal and just write whatever is in your head, even the most nasty and ugly and awful things. Just write it and write it whenever you feel like your mind is, like your head is going to explode with all these thoughts. And then you feel your feelings after that. The next step is to feel your feelings and stay with the most uncomfortable one. There's a video in the description box, very far down in the description box, dealing with pain. So that's what you're doing. After you have journaled this with your thoughts have now put a big mess in your body with all this negative thinking. So you're going to have to clean it out with doing the dealing with pain exercise. That's mainly to just stay with your pain and using your senses to determine what the pain is all about. Like looks, does it have a how does it look? Does it have a color, a shape, feeling? Like, how does it feel? And also, does it have a texture? Is it made of some stuff? And smell, you can smell, how does it smell? And also taste it, and so on and so forth. So you can go to this video and check it out, and you will find how to deal with this pain. And after you have dealt with the pain, I want you to meditate, to bring in light in your body. Start with like breathing, taking deep breath, where light comes in, and when you breathe out the breath of light in your body. You start with feeling your toes, feeling your ankles, your legs, and knees and thighs and buttocks and stomach and the body, the torso, the arms, the head. So you feel it with every breath until you have heightened your frequency. So those 3 steps, you need to do them quite often to heal, because you're not in a terrible state, but you are in a state which is a little bit stuck, and this can unstuck you from, you don't have to torment yourself or live in agony. It's unnecessary. Okay. So just tune in for a few seconds here. Okay. So this will be the evolution of your life from here on. There. This is, why do you still feel this strong connection to the Virgo, and why do you love someone that's abusive? What are you supposed to learn from this situation? Will she become a better person so you two can be together, and the outcome for your relationship? Oh, this was not many cards. The Virgo's feelings towards you, her intentions towards you, what is she thinking about you, what's she thinking about the relationship with you, her next move when it comes to your relationship. A little bit more. So I will move this so then I don't have to stretch so far. My arms are not that lengthy. So, okay. What the Divine wants to tell you about your relationship with the Virgo there. And what the Divine wants to tell you about your relationship with your daughter there. And this is what the Divine wants to tell you about your situation and life patterns. And we have the Hermit here. So you are in this situation where you are growing spiritually, and it's kind of necessary for you to be in a desert-like period or situation, because when God wants to speak to you, she wants you kind of alone. So you're not preoccupied with running around being in love or whatever, but actually, being attentive to what's going on, being a little bit bored, so it's easier for the Divine to reach you. And the Hermit is also a state where we kind of go inwardly and meditate a lot and find out who we are. It's a situation where we get to know ourselves better. So it's that kind of phase what you're in. And this was what the Divine wants to tell you about your relationship to your daughter. And we have the Chariot here. So it seems like it could be a time to reach out. She would probably not be super warm and friendly, because she doesn't feel that you have healed. And that's kind of truth as well, because this is King of Cups in reverse and Two of Swords, like a person ignoring their feelings, so they can't heal. So if you reach out and she's cold, she wants to know that you can deal with this shit here behind the Two of Swords, which is not shit, it's actually your feelings and your soul. And that's, she wants to be a little bit judgmental of you until you can prove to her that you are able to look at your trauma and heal it. Okay. And this, see, the computer skipped aside. And this is what the Divine wants to tell you about the relationship with the Virgo. And we can see the Wheel of Fortune here, and someone has fallen off. Yeah, okay, so it's a karmic situation with her. You have lived together with her before, and that's why you can't let her go, because you know that she's kind of important. So, okay. What the Divine wants to tell you about your situation and life patterns. So we have the Knight of Swords here. So that's a kind of a warrior mentality where we try to survive. We are in this survival mood. Think back to the time when we were living in caves and we didn't have any, civilization or anything. And we learned to put doors to our cave. We learned to make spears. And we started to feel more and more comfortable because now we have a gate that would keep predators out, and we had weapons. But we also starved. So we started to hunt a lot for food and build up storages. And this kind of never ended, this evolution. So now people are trying to survive on great scales. So they are building big houses for themselves with 15 cars and, an abundance and kind of stealing it away a little bit from others. So it's like a war going on where how can I get the most so I'm safe? Okay, so it's a little bit like a coward's approach to life, but it's what's going on on the earth as in general. And it's also speaking about all the wars that have been made in the name of survival. Like, I need to steal your shit so I can survive my shit kind of thing. Okay, so it's the mentality that you have been soaked into as being a male person. You are being born into this energy. As a female, I'm not as drawn in because I don't have my feminine line, like my body, which I'm in right now, doesn't have the same karma. Okay, it hasn't been in war as much and fought for this. It has been more being the victim of these wars. But this weekend I was on a retreat and I was doing a lot of past life exercises, and I came to only different lives where I have been male. They were kind of boring life. I have been a Spartan warrior, and they were all about kind of appearance, very good looking, like their equipment and such was very well polished and cleaned and everything. So this was what they were doing with their days, cleaning their equipment and also having these battle practices and going to war. And sometimes my friends died, and it was sad, but it was his job kind of. So we didn't suffer that much. We kind of lived in peace, actually. It felt very boring, like we didn't live with passion. We just lived as machines almost. And I think it's some kind of karmic pattern that comes with the masculine have to cut off a part of them to be able to go to war. So they are a little bit like just the arrow, but without any substance. So and when we start to get back substance, we will get a lot of guilt from all these lives we have lived when we were just shopping heads and having fun. Okay. So there's a lot of things to read into this card with the energy that you are carrying around. No fault of your own. It's like a common thing that's going on here. And here you have the Empress in the reverse. So, the victim of war. It's her house we are burning. She is police. So in Greece, it's like the person that's outdoors is the male, and the inside is the female, having the house, ruling the indoors. And here's the outdoors attacking the indoors. Like, I want to steal your home. I want to steal what you have in your barn. I'm going to steal your cow. So this is showing me a picture of how it looks inside of you, where there's a war towards the feminine inside of you. Because why it's a war? It's mainly because this entity inside of you don't want to feel the pain what it has caused to this side of you. And you have been males and females and males and females in different lifetimes. We can have been lived many lives as males, but we still have this feminine side to us. In other cases, we are not able to be healed or to transcend into becoming, a spiritual master or reach nirvana. We need both these sides. But for you, there's a war inside of you where your feminine side is the victim. Okay. And the next card here, we have the King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles in the reverse. So this is the kind of energy I was talking to you about, where we live in big houses, have 15 cars, and we don't let anyone else in. So we kind of live in a fort. When it comes like this, this person have inside their garden here, they have a lot of riches. It's like a feng shui garden. So they have a lot to share inside themselves. But sometimes they can have a big wall around them, and then the King of Pentacles comes in the reverse. So it kind of becomes like a person that's the miser, doesn't let anyone in, doesn't share their vulnerability, their inner life. As with the warrior lives, which I visit this weekend, they were kind of closed off. I asked them, what's your purpose with your life? They looked at me with, empty eyes. And it was also a bunch of hunters. They were out hunting for yetis, like an older type of humans that lived in the mountains. And I asked them why, and they didn't know. They have always done that. Like their fathers have done that, and their fathers before them, and they didn't know why. It was just like they need to do. It's like territorial pissing was what I was feeling about that. But they didn't know. They just did it, and it's a little bit. And how can I interpret this for your life? It's like you're a little bit unavailable for people, and you don't know why. And the reason is she feels a little bit squeezed between the Knight of Swords here and the King of Pentacles. And the King of Pentacles, like he has built all his riches on this feminine, because Earth is kind of feminine, and it's everything that grows there, or all the natural resources is what we build this riches on. So he likes the goods from the feminine, but he doesn't care to express her essence, like her soul. And her soul is unconditional love. Giving life, taking care, being like a person you can trust, that's always there. So this is what this part of you is avoiding. We don't want to be giving some love to unconditionally, or give something to someone that doesn't deserve it. Or the Empress, she spread her seeds everywhere, doesn't care where it end up. It's like life is abundant. But for the King of Pentacles, he only gives, to the people that's worthy. So he kind of have his castle door shut until someone worthy comes. So it's big boundaries, but it might be, well, we'll see. And here we have the Death card. So Death card talks about change. When death comes, it comes to everyone, both the Empress here and these kings and the knights. So no one escapes death. There's only one God, and his name is Death. That's from Games of Thrones. So it's something no one can escape, like rich or poor, male or female, child or adult. And here it's helpful because it kind of renders out the differences. So something is going on with you where these old habits of yours will be taken away, and it's healthy and it's good, okay? So it will be stolen from you, kind of from of the divine will take away your shelters. So you will kind of stand naked in front of yourself, so you can build yourself up from scratch, like more genuine in more of the spirit of this. You can see it. Okay, so if everything is taken away that you have hold on to so tightly, you will be free to start from square one and kind of realize what's important in life and what's not. And when death comes, like the group I read for on YouTube is the group that's going through the dark night of the soul. And the dark night of the soul is kind of this. We have a lot of things before. We had a lot of patterns and a lot of crap, but we had a lot of things, and all these things were taken away from us one by one. So we will go through this, like it's like this snake that shatters its changed skin. or a tsunami wave that comes and hits your life, and you need to build it from scratch, or a house burning down, you need to build it up from scratch, and it kind of leaves the essence of you. So not your titles, not your what you owned for yourself, not what you could brag about yourself for others, like I'm this and this. For me, it was I was captain of industry in my field, and earned a lot of money, and had a nice life. But due to different circumstances, this was taken away from me, and I kind of went a slippery slope down, but I let it happen. I didn't hold on to the old things. I kind of knew that I was just going to go along with it, and the new things comes after the death situation. That's better, like that's more in tune with who you really are, more in tune with your soul and your essence. So the old crap here, it's going to be taken away, and that's a good thing. And then we have the Lovers in the reverse. So that's after you have done this with purifying yourself and finding yourself then after the death here, finding yourself in a little bit desert kind of life where, okay, so what's the use kind of. Then you're going to have to work on your relationships. That's the next stage, but it's for the future. So it's not, you don't have to focus on that right now. You just have to focus on the relationship with yourself. And when that's done, when you have gone through this death process, then eventually you will be ready to also, love outside yourself. But first you need to work on this inside love. So what the Divine wants to tell you about your relationship to your daughter. And we have an 8 of Pentacles. So this is something, it's a karmic relationship again. You have been doing this again and again in many lifetimes. And it's the same old pattern. You are having the same behavior. She might have the same behavior. But every lap you go with this, you learn something new and improve yourself and become better. So it's like a work in progress. Next is the 5 of Cups in the reverse, comes underneath the Empress in the reversed. So, we saw the picture of you, how you have deserted your inner child. This is also a picture of how you have deserted kind of your actual child and your feminine side and the females in your life. But it shows that she has, since the 5 of Cups comes in reverse, it shows that she has been able to kind of recuperate from this. Maybe by distancing herself from you. That can be one way when we decide, okay, I'm worthy of better, so I'm not going to talk to this person even if I love them. They are not worthy of my attention because they hurt me like this. So I see a healing process, but it's also a distancing. If you hear snoring, it's my dog. We have the Queen of Pentacles in the reversed, comes underneath the King of Pentacles. So this is a husband and a wife, and they are both in the reverse. So it kind of shows that you have a soul family in some way, but currently you are on a distance from this person, whoever it is. I read it this way now, so then it's not about your daughter, it's about you. It shows that both these people need to learn to love themselves before they can come together in the Lovers. So you're in a process that's very typical, that where we first need to leave away our, ego kind of. We need our ego, but not to the extent, not the unnecessary sides to it, building, big piles of riches for ourselves and keeping everyone else out. For example, so that needs to go. Next step is to love oneself, find self-love, and also look at your own life, like your own career, your friendships, your house, how you take care of your body. Go deeper and deeper within, and heal every different aspect of this, so you can live a happy life also without this lover here, or the wife, which is actually shows. And it shows the same for your daughter, that she has kind of turned her back on the work that you did together, like this karmic situation, because she maybe felt like it was no use to try to fix it at this time. So she has tried to kind of comfort herself and focus on self-love here. Okay. And her own, like building on her own life without you. And here we have justice, and it comes in the reversed. So it shows that there's an injustice being made, and it kind of added to this karma which you had here. So you're going to have to fix this eventually. So I think there's an apology that needs to be made towards her. But it might be that what I saw in the cards here, she's not going to take it in the beginning, and you are going to probably have to prove. And you can't prove it just right now because you haven't done this work. But it wouldn't be a bad thing if you could say to her, I know you maybe don't want contact with me, but I want to let you know that I'm working on my stuff, so that I want one day, I hope we will be able to have a relationship. If you could say that, it would be very healthy. Okay, it would also make a path for you and her to be able to be together in the future, which would be a good thing. Okay, so if you could tell her that, if she doesn't speak to you, maybe send her a letter. But if she speaks to you, you can tell her this, that I'm working on my shit. One day I will come back for you, and but only if you mean it. Don't say it if you mean it, but it can make the door a little bit like half open for you. So when you have dealt with your crap and you're ready, you can go to her. And the children is the most important things in our lives. So you don't want to miss out for your own sake. Yes, and the last card here is the Ten of Cups in the reversed. And we also had the Lovers in reverse. So it seems like this daughter of yours, this girl, she's really your family and she's super important. But right now, you are not able to be in this happiness with her because of what has been going on in the past here. But this is my advice to you, to open this door, and to tell her this, and then do the work and actually come back to her. Don't betray her once more. Because you are going to want to, because the cycle goes like that, but you can break the cycle. You can do something, totally new. You don't have to go with the old, even if it feels, when we have a pattern, it feels more comfortable to go with the pattern than to not go with the pattern, to kind of do something new. So you're going to be called to do the same thing and maybe desert her again, but don't. Just take a logic decision to not. And even if it feels crap, you do what you are promised anyway. So that's going to break this pattern, and it's going to be able to turn these 3 cards around, or these 5 cards around. So death is going to see to it, and death in the shape of the divine kind of coming. We can see here's also like a star here above from my tablecloth. So death is coming and helping you with all this. So you can change all these cards to the upright position. But it's to your own work with self-love and, determination to go through all your patterns and fix it. So what the divine wants to tell you about the relationship to the Virgo. And we have a 4 of Pentacles in the reverse. So 4 of Pentacles in the reverse is kind of like death card. It says that the person that have lived behind the wall and kept themselves from these other people with the riches here, they're going to lose their riches. So that's what I'm seeing. So maybe you met this girl, so you had someone you couldn't say no to, you couldn't exclude her, as maybe you have done before. And then we have Strength card in the reversed, and it comes in this row with your inner child and your inner femininity. So you can't be your strong self right now because you are not healed, you're not whole, and you don't have access to your instincts. All the Egyptians, they put the gods here, animals there, and humans here, because they noticed that animals had a straight hotline to God because they knew things that the humans didn't know. So they saw animals as oracles because they knew when it was going to be a earthquake, a volcanic eruption, or when it was time to move here and there, or if the Nile was going to overflow big or small. They knew all this, so they knew that animals knew better than what they did. And this is what you have lost in your this connection from the inner child and the feminine, because they are the hotline to God, the nature. Okay, so this relationship with the Virgo identifies that your connection is cut off, and only it's a mix between self-love and unconditional love towards others will fix this for you. But right now it's like you're more like warrior siblings that steal stuff from each other than actually, lovers. It's passionate though, but like unhealthy passionate, like more like she has this collar on you, more like that. But it's still for a good cause, so you don't have to, be sad about it. It's still going to give you some good knowing. And here we have a 9 of Pentacles, and it comes underneath this with, okay, so she seems to be like, this is also Virgo. This is Virgo, so she seems to be the person that you're supposed to be with. But 9 of Pentacles is about self-love, and it reconnects to the Hermit. So this is what you are going to go through first, and, be able to take a deep look into the well, your feelings, where probably your inner child resides. The 5 of Cups here, it's what's in this well, and you're going to have to love yourself enough to be able to make a deep dive and save your inner child and take better care of yourself from now on. And she is going to have to do the same, and since it's a 9, it kind of talks about being alone and single. So she's still kind of your wife in a sense, but not right now. Like on a 5D level, she's still your wife. You might dream of her a lot and you're still connected, but on this level you need to go through this with this Hermit stage and healing of the inner child, and making 9 of Pentacles is all about taking care of your body, taking care of the feng shui space inside your body, like cleaning it out. And how you do this is with the exercise I told you. Write down all your thoughts. Do the dealing with pain exercise. So your thoughts, your body can't differ between what's really happening and what you're thinking. So it reacts the same to both. So that's why a male, for example, can get an erection with just thinking about a sexual situation. It doesn't have to be a sexual situation. Or we can, if you imagine now that you put your teeth right through the shell of a lemon, your mouth will start to, render more saliva, so that you will be able to deal with this lemon, even though it's not really here. So dealing with your thoughts, cleaning up your inner garden here after you have thought all these negative thoughts that comes here from the Knight of Swords, the inner child that's wounded by your own and others' Knight of Swords. So healing that, and then doing this with, taking in light into your body. So this will be the end result, hopefully. And when you have loved yourself and cleaned yourself out like this, you will be ready for love eventually, like with others, like with these lovers here. And the next card is the 2 of Rods in the reverse. So it shows that this will take some time, and it's in connection to the 11 Justice. 1 plus 1 is 2, and this is the 2 of Rods. It's really 8 in this deck, but in most decks it's 11, and I like it better. In other cases, it's connected to the Strength card, which is kind of also good. But 2 of Rods, it's a decision needs to be made, like equilibrium needs to be found, balance inside yourself, and it will come to change. So it will take a long time, is what this is saying, before there will be any progress. But then we have the 2 of Cups, so you're kind of promised that if you do the work well, and she's doing the work well, the Lovers and the 10 of Cups, which is great cards for love, will happen. Like you will be with this lady eventually. But first, both of you need to go through this dark night of the soul and clean your inner space and start loving each other. So 2-2, it's going to happen, but it's going to take time, all the time that's needed for this death process and this karmic situation to be solved. So solved by your moves and her moves, to not keep the old fortress anymore, but actually have your comfort zone with you wherever you go, being the bigger person, being able to be strong and nice and loving, and be able to say no, I don't want that. I still love you, but I don't want that. So being able to stand up for yourself, but in a loving kind of way. So we had a Wheel of Fortune there, so it kind of says that this is, your relationship is going to happen over and over again, maybe also in many lifetimes to come, because you have a lot to work on, and you probably like to work together, but you have this nice time and then you fall off and then you have to climb up, and so it's an on and off again thing, both when it comes in this lifetime maybe and maybe, and also for coming lives, that you will be able to do this again. If you don't finish in this lifetime, you will meet her in the next. Okay, so this is the Virgo's feelings towards you. And we have an 8 of Cups. So it seems like she has kind of given up on you. She feels like, she feels like you have given up on her. I'm not sure, but this is the on and off again thing. 8 of Cups is when we think, this is awful, and we walk away. And then when it's like this, we come back, and then we walk away, and then we come back, and then we walk away. So it's the Wheel of Fortune. But right now, it's like she's feeling like she wants to walk away. She wants to have distance to you. This is her intentions towards you. King of Rods. So King of Rods. I think she sees you as her soulmate. Okay, she sees you as a very important person. But I think right now, as you are trying to integrate your feminine side and the inner child, she is trying to integrate her masculine side. But it seems like she already have it with how she was acting, like with being mouthy and all that. But that's what I'm seeing. But you have the Strength card here. This is Leo and this is Leo. So it points to you being soulmates. But it's a difficult thing here. So she probably feels drawn to you when she wants to walk away from you. So I see kind of the same story for her as you have told me about your side of things. And this is what she's thinking about you. And we have 5 of Rods, 5 of Wands. It's like, she felt like your relationship was all about argument and you were acting like warrior siblings instead of being able to be on the same page and love each other. It was like you were always competing with her, or she was always competing with you, or both. But with the 5 of Rods in the verse, it's like, okay, when we are on a distance, even if he's my soulmate, we don't argue at least. So that's what she feels. And this is what she's thinking about the relationship. And we have the Star card here. So she's hoping that it will be fixed. She haven't given up a hope on this relationship, and she kind of knows this, what I see here, that you need to grow, both of you, and forgiveness needs to be made. We need to be able to give up our ego and want to be better, like fix our issues, but it will take a little bit of time. But she hasn't given up on this, definitely not. And this is her next move, and we have a 2 of Pentacles in reversed. So it's like she can't find a comfortable place to be in, much like you. It's not nice to be without you, but she doesn't want to take the step to be with you. So it's going to be in this state where nothing really feels good, and we are not able to, take the next step in our life or move forward. It's just kind of uncomfortable, but we are dealing with it. So it's not a big disaster. We don't want to die or anything like that. It's just like I would rather want to be able to move on or to have the relationship fixed. But now I'm in like nothingness, or like in the space in between. And we can also notice that it's 2, 2, 2, 11, 2. So it's a lot of 2s here. And the Star card is 17. And 1 plus 7 is 8. So it's connected to when we are strong enough to be the bigger person and apologize, we also have, a new beginning. So that's what I'm seeing there. But for right now, you are in this 2-2, like in the situation where nothing is really happening. We are just working on ourselves and we don't get the result or the reward. So I'm going to take down the curtains because it gets too much contrast in here. So I hope this is better. And underneath this we have the Page of Pentacles. So it seems like she is not going to step into a new relationship, like not a serious one. I don't think so. She might juggle, one other person, but it's not going to feel the same as it did with you. So Page of Pentacles is very focused on one person. So I definitely think that you're soulmates and that you're supposed to be together, but need to, grow to be able to be together. And she's not going to, I don't see her being able to move on with someone else. Okay, and the next, it's, why do you still feel this strong connection to this Virgo? We have the Three of Swords in the reversed. Okay, so it's because you need to fix this situation with your feminine side. You can see here that your feminine side has kind of been wounded and given up on you a little bit. And this needs to heal. Okay, so you have a trauma inside of you, separation inside of you. We all have. So it's not unique for you, but you have this separation inside of you that needs to heal. When the Three of Swords comes in the reversed, however, it shows that it's not as bad as it was before. Okay, you have healed a great deal already, both when it comes to your trauma, but also this relationship in general, that you're not as hurt as you were before. It's not this acute pain as it was in the beginning of your separation. So how it answered the question, why do you still feel this strong connection, is because she is the key to healing your wound in some way. If you can heal yourself enough to be with her and she can heal herself enough to be with you, that would be an outside expression of what has happened inside of you. Like the marriage inside will mirror on the outside. So that's what wants to happen, this healing. Healing wants to happen. Why do you love someone that is abusive? And we have a Seven of Pentacles. So sevens are always spiritual challenges. And sevens is usually a challenge when it comes to patience. It might be that you have given too much patience in this relationship and you had to give her up. And if she wouldn't have been abusive, you wouldn't have had to give her up. So you put a lot of work into this, or gave a lot into this connection, so you didn't want to give it up. You knew kind of that she was your soulmate. But this was the first time I see you actually standing up for yourself. With the Seven of Pentacles in the reversed, you kind of decided that your inner child, your feminine side, was worth more. Okay, so here you have your banner. And I think now that it was you that walked away from this situation, you kind of realized that this is crap and I'm worthy of better, and you walked away. So that was a big step for you when it comes to your self-preservation and taking better care of your inner child and your inner female by not taking crap anymore. So that's why you loved someone that was abusive, so you would be able to realize, okay, this person is abusive and I need to take better care of myself. I will not let someone treat me like this in the future. So that you actually, if you remember the Ace of Wands, the girl that walked from one place to another over the rod, this is what you did here. You left the old behind, where you have been, let people treat you in a bad way, and now you won't do that anymore. So that's a big thing. And that's why you loved someone that was abusive, was that she's not abusive in her spirit. She's not an abusive soul. She's abusive when she's with you, so she could teach you what you needed to know. Okay. What what are you supposed to learn from this situation? And we have a Four of Cups, and it's in reversed. So 4 of Cups in reversed. It kind of feels like this with my past lives that I visited this weekend, like these guys that wasn't like really passionate. They were just living their life, but they were not, into it. Here we have a man. He seems very, a little bit spoiled. He's not happy. He has all these riches around him and people tending to him, but he's still not happy. It's not enough. It's like something is missing. And we can see what was missing here. It's the masculine, feminine side, self-love, and stopping with the fighting. What's the use with the fighting or winning over someone else? It's not healthy. So with the 4 of Cups in reversed, what you were supposed to learn was all this. You were supposed to learn to maybe be a little bit more grateful for what you already have. Not try to win over others. Love yourself. Love your feminine side and your masculine side, and find that kind of balance and gratefulness. So start to be grateful for the small things in life, like just the sun coming up in the morning, or the sip of a cold glass of water, or just the feet towards the ground. Feel the gratefulness in those situations, and you will start to be able to wake up your spirit again. So this healing that I see here can happen. And will she become a better person so you two can be together? Well, I'm not really sure. It doesn't look like that. 5 of Swords. It's the story I've been telling you with the Knight of Swords, and how abusive it has been to the inner female and the inner child. Instead of being the caretaker, like the one that was supposed to show love, it kind of tried to steal some comfort from others to feel safe. Instead of giving love to make the world a loving place, it stole stuff and built high walls. So I can't see this being fixed, really. I can see that the divine is working on it, and that justice needs to be made, but it's going to take time. She has hope, but 8-8-5-5. It's like this is a karmic thing that won't be fixed, easily like this. Okay, so she will still be the same person that she is right now, and I don't really know what to do with that. It's not like she will change. Maybe you love her anyway, okay? Maybe you can train her, like a dog. Give her treats when she's saying nice things, and, turning your back towards her when she's saying bad things. But she doesn't seem to, really change. That's not what I'm seeing here. The outcome for your relationship, and we have a 6 of Rods in the reversed. So it kind of says you can't win. You can't win. So I think like this, that when you stop being abusive towards others and yourself and trying to win in different situations, she won't mirror that back to you anymore. So that's what I'm seeing. When you don't fear the reaper anymore, when you don't fear a person being abusive, because it doesn't matter if they're abusive or not, you don't take it personally. You are the bigger person now. So you're like, okay, if someone says to you, you have such an ugly nose, you don't have a wound anymore, so you don't feel like, okay, that person wants to hurt me. You more feel like, oh, that person must be hurting, needs to say something like that to another person. So I see you need to change this outlook on winning and, being the winner or the victim. That neither needs to be the winner or the victim. If someone says something stupid, it's more about them than it's about you. And for you, it's about healing to the level where another person's bad behavior doesn't really matter to you, and you are not, you don't need their forgiveness anymore. You don't need them to tell you that you are awesome. You kind of know that you are great, but not greater than anyone else. You're just great. And before, you might have, whenever someone is abusive, we might want to change their mind about us and make them say nice things. because we need everyone to love us. But if we love ourselves truly, we don't need that. We just make it about them. We just see, okay, this person hasn't healed, so they are not yet in unconditional love. I wish I could help them, and I will if I can, but it's not really, I don't take responsibility for others in that way, so you don't become a codependent either. You do what you can, but it's not your job to fix them. You can just say, it seems like you lack self-love when you say those things. So here we can see this whole thing with needing other people's attention, specifically from people that's abusive. We want them to be nice, so that we can feel safe. Sometimes people love the people that's most abusive because they are similar to what they might have experienced when they were small, like my mother or my father didn't love me, so I want to fix that. So we find a partner that's similar and hope to fix it, okay, with them. So 4 of rods in the reversed with the outcome situation. So it seems like there's love here, but I don't see a relationship being, coming into this future of yours. But we'll see. I will check your future right now. But it looks like you still love each other, and she still have hope for you. But you are in this situation where you kind of live in the past, and nothing is, like, even if you have the greatest treasures in front of your nose, you won't recognize that. And it's a 4, and this is a 4. So I think currently you are not ready for a relationship because you have all these issues, what I told you, with winning over others and loving people that, or trying to please people that's abusive, and other patterns that you have here. So you need to come to this place of self-love and, detachment a little bit, where you love people and feel love in your heart, and your heart chakra is open, but you don't take them personally anymore because you don't have a wound anymore. Okay, so the time is actually up, but I will show you these cards. Evolution of your love from now on, and I can see you kind of working on your crappy self-esteem there, because the 5 of Pentacles is in reverse, so it shows healing. And then we have an 8 of Rods. So this is your communication with your inner child and your inner, your soul self, your inner child self and your feminine self, your instincts and everything like this. And you're taking better care of yourself. So better inside communication is what I'm seeing. So you're going to do this exercise, what I'm telling you, and it's going to be great. You see this paper is your notes and, the work that you do with the healing and also bringing in this light. And then we have a 6 of Swords. So 6 of Swords, you're going to get a lot of knowing about this with the masculine and the feminine and your inner love. And also this with this content and this need to win over others or prove yourself to others. So you're going to have a lot of insight about that from this communication that you get from yourself. And then I see a 3 of Cups. So you will start to make friends. I think you will start to, the people that are actually there for you, like the people that you might not have even noticed because they are not any problem for you. They are always nice. So I think you're going to start to give those people more attention and love. So you're going to give love where love is also, you get it back, kind of. So you're going to celebrate the small situations. You're going to become a little bit more grateful also for the thing that you already have and celebrate those things. And then we see the 8 of Swords here, and 8 of Swords, and it's in this situation with all the love. Okay, so other people will love you in the way you love you. So take a good look in the mirror. If this is what you see, this is what others sees, even if this is you. So you're going to have to change your thought about yourself, and that's going to be crucial. And here we have the 7 of Cups and this. Okay, so if you will make it over here, it all depends on how you connect with your feelings. If you're able to sort out those feelings and kind of make them your second language or your third or your fifth, depending on how many you have, but learn the language of your feelings. learn to speak fluid emotion and you will be fine. You will be able to take yourself over this gap. Okay, so I hope this helped. I want you to take really good care. And if you ever need my service again, you know where to find me. Okay, bye-bye.